We have our very handsome birthday boy here. Stream. Here we go. And goodbye, Mr. Tyler. Happy birthday. And so we're going to talk with Allison. She is going to give us some great tips on our hair as we age. Yes, our hair gets different too. And so we'll go ahead and bring Allison in and talk a little bit about how to look better with our aging hair. Hi, Allison. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you, Mary?
Wonderful. Thank you. Yeah. So we actually even have a caregiver question too. So maybe we can start that out. Steve's not here with us today, but somebody knew you were coming on, and they said as a caregiver, they are so stressed that they're actually losing clumps of their hair when they're kind of in their hands. So maybe we can start with that question.
And, I'd love to. It's, stress is one of the number one reasons why we lose our hair, right? That's one of the number one things that can happen to, that contributes to significant hair loss. So without going into a lot of detail about how hair grows, what we want to do is do things that support the hair. So as you know, in times of stress, great stress, especially extended stress, right? We all have the immediate stress of getting something done that might last an hour, might last 15 minutes, might last the day, very stressful day. But with caregiving, it's ongoing stress.
For a long time, maybe years sometimes.
Yes. Yeah. So we know that this stress can be damaging to the body in a number of ways. And so we like to support it. So the same things that you can do to support your health during extended stress are some of the same things that will help with your hair health. One of the things that I have turned to and I love using and recommending to my clients is ashwagandha. So ashwagandha can come in a tincture, and it's actually shown to lower cortisol levels in your body, right? And it has a wonderful effect on the hair. So you can buy ashwagandha as a powder, and then we mix it with a little water and turn it into a paste. And when you do take that time out for self-care, you can add this paste to your hair and scalp and let the smell of it, go in through your through your nose and goes past the blood-brain barrier, and let it really relax you. And at the same time, you're giving yourself a wonderful scalp and hair treatment that will help to reduce hair loss. So another thing I like to do is combine these different herbs to help with hair loss while it's also helping with stress. So Ayurvedics are great, the Indian system for health. But there are some very common herbs that you can get now at just about any store. So it used to be hard to do years ago, but now you can pick up things like nettle or hops. I don't know if you've heard of beer hair.
I haven't heard of beer hair, but I have heard of hops for beer.
Yeah. Right. And there's now a popular thing called hops shampoo or beer shampoo. And that is because the hops contain valuable ingredients that nourish the scalp and actually will help block a little DHT, which is one of the DHT being a chemical that can occur that helps your hair fall out. So I would say that you'd mix hops. You can mix some of this ashwagandha. You can mix something like holy basil or tulsi into a paste and then apply it to your hair and let it sit there for 30 minutes and rinse it out. So not only will you be giving your roots something that's scientifically backed to help support the root health, but you'll also be experiencing the aromatherapy that helps to calm the system.
Oh, sure. How often can somebody do that?
I'd say you could do it about once a week, maybe
Okay.
more frequently. What's wonderful about herbs and Ayurvedics is that they're gentle, right? And if your body isn't responding at the pace that you would like it to, in most cases, you can just use more. Just use it more frequently or use a little more, right? It's like taking ginger or turmeric for inflammation
Uh-huh.
is also something that you can just take more of depending upon what your own body's needs are.
Okay. Okay.
Some of the other things that you can do is what you would do to de-stress in any situation. I have found that to reverse or to halt hair loss, I would need to meditate, go quiet, definitely take the time out, whether it's 15 or 20 minutes a day, if that's all you can do, but take some time to really unplug, relax, de-stress, do some stretching, go for a walk, anything you can do to unplug and start to bring some of that calm and lower those cortisol levels, lower the hormones that you're producing that are stress responders. And of course, I mentioned ashwagandha. I'm an herbalist, as you know, and so I go from an herbal perspective. But there are many things that you can take to help de-stress you that are natural. So take a look around, talk to an herbalist, and see what you can do. Another great thing I love, though, is lavender. So
Yes.
lavender essential oil is easy to obtain at just about any store, and get a diffuser and let that lavender burst into the room, all day, right? And breathe that in and let yourself relax and distress.
I do that. I do that. I also have it in a little spray bottle,
Oh, yes.
and just spray that across my bed before I get in sometimes. And it's
Mhm.
kind of nice to inhale something that smells, has a calming effect, but it just smells beautiful. I don't know if that makes sense. It smells beautiful, but
Yeah.
it makes you feel good when you're smelling something good too. There's something about uh, scent that is so, it brings back memories. It's so
Hmm.
stimulating in a way,
Hmm.
or calming, or it has just such a very interesting effect on our bodies.
Yes, it does. In herbalism school, we were taught that all these scents cross the blood-brain barrier, go directly into the brain, and can have a wonderful impact there. So yes, the smell, the beauty of the smell is part of it, and then the actual composition of those herbs is the other part of it. But I think the smell is key. So yeah, I love doing that. So
I used to even do more sessions with groups too, and especially someone like an older adult, you pass around something. It doesn't mean that because you have mint or because you have lavender or whatever, they have to guess that it's lavender. But I
mhm,
would ask them, what does this remind you of? And
mm,
sometimes it was really sweet. They just said, oh, it reminds me of the beach. And did you grow up on the beach? It was a great way to stimulate conversation,
mhm,
but it also would evoke some very deep memories for people. Oh, this it was
wow.
orange, and somebody said, oh, it reminds us probably orange oil that their mom used with some cleaning. And said, oh, it reminds me of my mom and my grandmother, and then my grandmother would do this, and it's so beautiful to see those kind of memories surface in people.
Yeah, to
So
surface up. And it kind of takes you out of the headspace that you were in before you started that exercise, I think.
right, right. So
Right?
back to the hair. Back to the
Yeah.
hair.
Yeah, yeah.
Here's some
Oh,
more fantastic things about hair. In addition to the benefits of what you're putting on your scalp to benefit your scalp, obviously the scent is important. But
yes, yes, it is.
but
Uh,
here's some more.
well, I thought one thing that your listeners and viewers might be interested in is gray hair and what happens with gray hair, right?
Yeah.
So, as you know, we start losing the melanin, and that's because the cells that create melanin as new hair grows out, they stop working. They just like, I'm
Mm,
giving up on this. Well, the other cells that are creating uh, the actual new new hair that's coming out of the root. They're still busily working. Now, sometimes those cells can be reduced too, but as that new hair comes out, there's a number of things that can happen. If the root is starting to get a little tired, which it can after 50, 60, 70, 80 years of going through this intense growth cycle of, I'm shedding, I'm creating new hair, I'm dormant, and now I'm creating, new hair. It just gets tired. It can get tired, especially if we don't take care of our hair through the years, and maybe we haven't all been equipped. I know I wasn't with how to do that. So as the hair comes out, it can get a little coarser. It can get kind of frizzy. It's lost, some of its melanin. And in some cases, it can lose, it can be finer. So some people, their gray, silver, white hair gets actually thinner and finer and more delicate and is easier to break. And for some, it's not that it's getting thicker, but it kind of establishes this frizzy or a slight coarseness to it that makes it appear like it's thicker. Yeah. So that's just what happens depending upon, your physical makeup. And once that happens, we have to treat our hair a little differently. But you can start treating your hair differently ahead of that to help your roots stay as healthy as possible. So one interesting thing about gray hair, you might have heard, there is some research that now shows that to a certain extent, gray hair is reversible. And they've done that by showing that you can have a hair, and I wish I could share my screen with you, but that's okay. You can have a hair. I'm going to pretend that this is one hair, which it is not. Okay. And at the root, you got some white come in, right? That's what normally happens before we run and color it. But then after that white, more brown hair or black hair or whatever the melanin color has appeared. So you might have someone who's got dark, white, and then dark again.
Wow.
And what that's about is that had to do directly with stress. And once the stress was removed, the melanin was restored to the hair. So this is not super great news for those of us who might have had, gray, white, or silver hair for a number of years. This is more in the short term. This is catching hair as it turns gray due to stress in the very short term. You eliminate the stress and the gray is reduced. So I just think that's fascinating. And again, that's more about mind-body connection, right? And about how much what we're thinking and feeling is influencing our health and influencing our body and influencing the way we appear. So anyway, our follicles are getting kind of worn out and making the hair kind of coarser and making it white. So what we want to do is nourish the roots. Again, some of the powders that I talked about help nourish the roots. Simple things like aloe vera gel, a high quality aloe vera that you would get, say, at a health food store, the kind that after you open it would have to be refrigerated. It's a drinking quality aloe vera gel. Or if you're in an area that easily grows aloe vera, if you have your own plant, you can split the plant open, part your hair, and you can massage that open leaf on your scalp. And it has wonderful exfoliating action, and it actually plumps the hair up. So if you, I like to do this as an overnight treatment, right? I part my hair, I apply aloe vera gel and massage it, and then I part it again and repeat that action on my scalp. Or if I'm lucky, I get a friend to help me do that. Then I put my hair into a cap and go to bed. And when I wake up the next day, I rinse that from my hair and I can condition afterwards. And my hair is just fluffier. But it's smooth and it's hydrated. It's a wonderful hydrating treatment for the hair and a wonderful exfoliating and scalp nourishing treatment. Now, some people will also put an oil on with the aloe vera to help it not dissipate. So mix it with a little coconut or a little olive oil and apply that to the scalp. It's wonderful.
Oh, that's very interesting. So what other techniques do you have for gray frizzy hair too?
Well, there's some wonderful herbs that will actually smooth your hair. So I'm sure that you know, or maybe you don't know, Mary, my hair is about 70% gray.
Oh, no.
And I guess you can kind of see it coming in on my part, but I dye my hair completely with plants and the herbs that I was talking about, different herbs. And when I dye my hair or color it with plants, I mix herbs in there that will help smooth my hair and help smooth the follicle down. And that also coat the follicle a bit and give it a shinier, smoother appearance. So that's what I'm doing with my hair. But one way that you can do that quite quickly, let's see, what would be the best? So to smooth the hair, you can use something like amla powder, which will also, it will smooth the hair, but it will also help make the hair appear thicker. And I think that's usually what someone is doing with gray hair, right?
How do you spell that? I'm not familiar with that powder.
It's AMLA. AMLA.
Okay.
Now, if you have dark hair, you can make a tea out of hibiscus, right? Hibiscus is a pretty common tea.
Sure.
And I like to mix it with a little bit of, green tea. But take a hibiscus, make a tea, make 4 cups, and then put that rinse in your hair. That's for dark hair. If you have light hair, you can use a mixture of chamomile tea. You want to use light teas because the hibiscus will stain your darker hair. So chamomile, and there's another powder called cassia, Cassia, and that is so wonderful for coarse hair, for gray hair. It smooths the hair wonderfully. But again, this is out of Ayurvedic. So something like that you can purchase either at an Indian store or online at a reputable place for that. But just search online for cassia powder and look for something that's organic and mix that with some chamomile and make a tea out of it, or make a mud, pour it over your hair or apply it as a mud pack, and it will really smooth the hair. It will strengthen the hair. And chamomile and cassia both have a slightly, ever so slight blonde molecule. So if you have light hair and you're trying to get a little closer to blonde, you can use that rather than using the shampoos that have chemicals in them, which are not good for hair growth. They're not good for your scalp.
Yeah, I've tried to slowly but surely, and I think my children have actually been really good influence on me. I think the first time was when my son came home and said, "Well, I'm not drinking sodas anymore because they're bad for my braces." So we eliminated sodas from the house.
Oh,
And
great.
one of my other kids started doing bodybuilding, so he started looking at food differently and requesting different things in the household. And it just kind of went from there, evolved into no dairy. And that was kind of a personal thing. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have dairy, but now like Simple Green is such a great thing to clean your house, or our thieves. It's more of a natural product. I use more of a vinegar. So for our laundry, and so I've been transitioning our makeup, and the last thing will be hair products as far as dye. And I just got some nail polish too. That's
Oh, really?
plant-based. At least it still smells pretty strong, like it has some chemicals in it. Maybe they're natural chemicals, but I'm trying to change those things in our environment to hopefully create better living and longevity with that too.
I
So
think
I love some of your examples of what we can do with our hair too.
absolutely. And it is about taking baby steps. I even think with, with de-stressing, that requires some changes, but you start with baby steps, right? Like, I'm going to take a 15-minute break now and I'm going to do some deep breathing.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
I'm going to disconnect and I'm going to read from an inspirational book.
Sure.
Or I'm going to do that for 10 minutes. Like, maybe you can't have a stress-free day because of what you're doing, the caregiver situation. But you can walk away, take deep breaths, take adaptogens that help support your body during times of stress. Find a way to express yourself, exercise, all the things we know, but, go do some hard exercise for a few minutes, right?
Sure.
Just to let it out.
Right. How would people get a hold of you, Allison?
I have a website. It's called,
Okay.
it's naturalhairevolution.com. And I do offer 30-minute free consultations through March 15th. After that, the free consultation will go away, but there'll be a paying consultation taking its place. So people can go on, schedule a consultation with me, and we'll talk about their specific hair issues and goals. And I'll make recommendations to them, show them how, or demonstrate how to do certain natural things that will help them achieve their goals.
So I don't know if you can see this, but I just created a crawler below us, and it says Allison Gibson Natural Hair Evolution. I think I spelled it right.
You
.com.
did. You did. Wow.
Hi!
You know, I don't think I've ever been on a show before that had a cool crawler like that. So I'm feeling pretty good right now.
Well, we're pretty sharp here. We have all kinds of great things that we have, the features that we have in this program here, and I'm doing it all by myself.
Can I mention a couple of other things about this caregiver example or the caregiver that had the question? I just want to cover a couple more things. One is there are natural hair protocols. These are things that you do, standard things that one does to embrace natural hair and to prevent hair loss, jumpstart growth. I mean, it's just so good overall. And I think the key thing is the scalp massage. And I meant to mention that earlier. Giving yourself a scalp massage. And it can be with lavender, a drop of lavender oil with some jojoba or olive oil or whatever you wish, and massage it gently into the scalp, right? Pull back. Take 5-10 minutes to do this, especially at night, right? Let that absorb in overnight. Dual purpose, nourishing the roots and relaxing and de-stressing. For those who have curly hair, they need to stop combing their hair because they can experience a lot of breakage. Avoid heat when you can, right? What you want to do when you're losing hair is support the roots any way that you can and be gentle with your hair. So air dry your hair when possible. Stop using curling irons at least for a month or two while you're letting your roots heal themselves. And on my website, you can download the natural hair protocols so that anyone can use these methods to de-stress, support their hair health, ways to just be gentle. I wanted to mention.
How often should somebody be shampooing their hair?
Well, it really does vary on the hair type and the scalp type. Obviously, oily types need to sometimes wash their hair every day or every couple of days. Although if you are an oily type, try a warm coconut oil treatment. It will fluff your hair wonderfully. And even though it seems counterintuitive, that oil helps stave off the oils that your scalp is forming. Contact me and I'll give you the recipe for that. It really works so that then they don't have to wash for 3 days. But I would say on average, washing your hair every 3 to 7 days.
Okay.
Some people wait 10 days. But when you're shampooing your hair, one of the best things you can do is use sulfate-free shampoos. Stop stripping the hair and stripping the scalp.
Yeah, I think I do that, but we'll see. I think I have to call you or reach out to you on Natural Hair Evolution.
Yes.
And get my little evaluation too. So
That's right.
That's right. So thank you so much, Allison. I really appreciate all the hints on what you do with balding hair, graying hair, thinning hair, curly hair, aging hair. We can create our own vision of the hair that we want.
Yes.
That. Yeah.
As part of visionary aging, I love that. And I've really embraced visionary aging as a way to think about myself going forward, right? And a way to think about my life. So I want to thank you for that, Mary, for having that wonderful concept as part of what you do. It's really important.
Thank you. And I appreciate that. And I think it is helpful. So I hope that others will embrace it as well. I'm going to share a couple things. Let's see. Somebody has a question.
Really?
Wow. Let's see. We have, We have, let's see, who wants you to come back and have some other questions that they're going to ask you in advance.
Oh, I would love to come back, and I sure hope this has been helpful to
Absolutely.
to those who are watching.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I want to share a couple of things. Do you want to stay on?
Yeah,
I want to share a couple of things. Oh yeah, they're saying great show, great show. We're also celebrating our 15th anniversary, so I'm pretty excited about that too. And we have some fun things that you, I think, are a little bit familiar with.
Nice. The perk.
I'll go ahead and hide us here and show them. Send those things out to you, and like I said, absolutely free. We'll email them to you and make sure that you are able to enjoy that with a loved one. And I'm pushing buttons here as I'm chatting away. Any other? Let's see. Normally we would have our Steve and Melinda on talking about nutrition and some of our caregiver questions. But I just want to thank you so much for being on and offering so much wonderful advice on how to stay healthy with natural products for our hair. And I think as an herbalist, you have a lot more to offer in regards to information for us too. So I thank you. Sounds like people want you to come back. So
okay, that'd be great. I would love to come back. Yeah, please visit my website. There's a lot there. The free consult. There's a listing of events. I'll be hosting a workshop March 19th that will go into thicker and longer hair. That is the topic, which is a hot topic. So I'll be partnering with a nutritionist on that one, Sachi at Zequin Life. So I'm really excited about that. So yes, please visit my website, see what we have to offer.
Great. Sounds wonderful. All right, everyone, you have a fabulous weekend. And we're going to go ahead and take off for the day and enjoy.
Thank you. Thank you, Mary.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right.